And I know we have a couple of new members. So I'll go ahead and just say welcome to the Parkinson's Foundation's Mindfulness Monday. My name is Krista Ellis. I'm the Community Programs Manager that serves the Florida chapter. It's got a big state over here down. I live in Tampa, Florida. So if you'd like to share, you can let us know where you're tuning in from today. Just a few things to note before we get started. We do talk to each other over the chat, so feel free to make comments, ask questions, share anything that might be on your mind as we go through our session today with Dr. Rush. And I wanted to be sure to share with you guys that this Friday we are hosting our Volunteer Leadership Summit. You can network with current volunteers and visit the virtual exhibit hall to speak with staff about how you can get involved and make a difference in the Parkinson's community. Visit www.parkinson.vfairs.com to sign up for our Volunteer Leadership Summit. Again, that's this Friday, July 16th at noon Eastern Time. I'll have more updates for those of you who have not received our Parkinson's Foundation presentation. I'll say a few words after our session today, so stick on. Thank you, Tim. Yes, Tampa Bay just won the Stanley Cup for a second time. We are a city of champions down here, welcoming all kinds of championships in the Tampa Bay area. So go Lightning. Without further ado, I am happy to welcome our expert mindfulness teacher today, Dr. Taylor Rush from the Cleveland Clinic. Dr. Rush, you can take it away.
Okay, thank you, Krista. So thank you everyone for joining us today. For those of you who haven't met me virtually before, I am a health psychologist at the Cleveland Clinic up here in Cleveland, Ohio. And I join Krista once a month for these Mindfulness Mondays as I work with a lot of folks who have Parkinson's here in our Movement Disorder Center. And a lot of what I do with folks ends up including quite a bit of mindfulness practice. So every month I come in with a slightly different topic to talk about. And this month we are going to talk about mindful play. So for those of you who were on the video last month that I was facilitating, we had talked about the concept of beginner's mind. And beginner's mind is just basically trying to foster an attitude of looking at things that maybe you've seen 1,000 times before through fresh perspective, through eyes of a novice, and being able to appreciate things for what they are rather than taking them for granted as a way to foster creativity, wonder, and joy. And so I thought a nice partnership with that would be to talk about the importance of mindful play. And, when people hear that word play, oftentimes they don't think about adults in play. We think about kids in play, and we know how important play is to childhood development. We know it helps kids foster relationships and understand, social networks, and to be able to learn better because they tend to learn through movement and connection and play. And so we know that that's an important part of growing up. But then as adults, some of that kind of goes away, and we don't always play or put priority on play the way that we used to. And, if kids can play, and we also see animals play, it's one of the most entertaining parts of my day is watching animals play, why shouldn't we do it for us? And actually in the past decade or so, there's been a bit more research on the importance of play to overall mental health and well-being. And I think especially now, as we're all starting to emerge back into the world, hopefully a little bit more than we have in the past 18 months, we're starting to recognize the need for fun. maybe we took it for granted before, maybe we didn't think about it much before, but now after the monotony that was 2020 and part of 2021, I think we're starting to recognize that we need to have fun in order to thrive. And I think when folks are trying to deal with a lot of heavy stuff in their life, including a chronic neurologic issue like Parkinson's, we need to have opportunities for fun and for play in order to have the best quality of life possible. So we know from the research that's been done on play in adults is that it helps to foster connection and social well-being, kind of like it does in kids. Because when we play with others, we foster a sense of community, a sense of trust, a sense of affection. And so that's really important since we are social creatures by nature. We also know that play is a stress buster. To be able to play means that we're able to release stress or have a channel for stress or be able to get our mind off of things that are usually stressful for us. So if during, a card game that we find fun, that we're able to get our mind off of things that are stressful and the heavy weight of the world, it helps our body to kind of recollect and be able to kind of bounce back as a result of that play. We also know that play helps to protect against depression and anxiety because it helps to literally shift some of the chemicals that are in our brains. Play helps to release endorphins. It helps to trigger some of our dopamine reward center. And by doing so, it helps to keep things in a little bit better balance. We also know that play can help to sharpen memory. By playing, we're able to actually activate a lot of different areas of our brain, which can help sharpen our ability to think, our ability to recall things and keep more than one piece of information in our minds. And it also helps to foster creativity. And so you may notice like a lot of these big companies like Google, for instance, they set up their work environments to be very different than what we would typically expect from a large corporation. They have these places for which, it's dedicated specifically to play, to people kind of being able to do other tasks, other games, things to kind of help their brain to process creative thoughts. And so we know play and creativity go hand in hand very, very often. Now, myself included here, is that sometimes our ego, our expectations, what things that have been told to us through our own life narrative can sometimes interfere with our ability to allow for opportunities for play. So sometimes those should thoughts start to come into play a little bit, where I should be serious. I'm an adult. I've been through a lot in my life. I need to be respectable. I should not be goofy. I should not act immature. I should, always seem like I have it together. When in fact, that's not really necessarily true. I've seen some very lively, very playful 80-year-olds, and I've seen sometimes some very, very serious 20-year-olds. And so, I think play is not contingent on one's age. And actually, we are set up biologically to play. It's part of what helps our brain to make connections and to be able to think correctly. Again, if you look at brain imaging studies, when people are engaged in a playful act or the idea of play, the brain lights up like a Christmas tree. And it really helps to activate and connect different centers of the brain to consolidate information and to think a little differently. And so, the importance of play is starting to really be well known in the literature. And so we want to make sure that we're including that in the balance of the ways that we take care of ourselves and being able to do that mindfully. So thinking about, what we had talked about last month with beginner's mind. So again, looking at things as if for the first time, allowing ourselves a fresh perspective. And sometimes that beginner's mind is even how we see ourselves. So at one point, at one stage of our life, somewhere, we played. And so whether that was as a child, as a teenager, as an adult, there have been moments in our lives when we've played. And there's a researcher on play. His name is Dr. Stuart Brown. He has a wonderful TED Talk about play, by the way. So if you Google Dr. Stuart Brown play, I'm sure it will come up. And one thing that he talks about is, in order for people to get into touch with that sense of joy, that sense of play, he asked people to think about their play history. When did they play? How did they play? How did play make them feel? And to really conjure the core of those joyful memories and how that felt emotionally, in order to better figure out how people can incorporate that now. Because if it's not an emotion that we have on the radar, it's really hard to make it happen. And so if joy, if play is on the radar, we're much more likely to find opportunities to make that experience happen. So something that I will tell my patients is that taking time to do something playful is not selfish. It's not superfluous. It's not just, oh, something you can do if you have the luxury to do it. No, it's actually very necessary to your quality of life, both emotionally as well as physically. It's when we play, we can kind of innervate our bodies in ways we otherwise wouldn't. So, one way that people can sometimes trace back to their play history and figure out, what might bring me a sense of joy now? What would be fun now? Is thinking about maybe a hobby or an activity that maybe you enjoyed as a child. What was something that you really liked? Like I know some, very serious adults who have really gotten into Legos again. Like they loved Legos as a kid, and they got out of it as an adult, and then they kind of come back around to it now. And they're like, it's just fun. It doesn't do anything, per se in terms of, making my home look prettier or, has a function. It just makes me feel good, something that I enjoy. For some people that could be board games. For some people, it might be, getting outside and playing water guns with their grandkids. It could be just about anything. But thinking about something that once instilled a sense of joy can sometimes help you then brainstorm what you might be able to try to experiment with now. And so I know that there's actually even been some research surrounding this with folks who have Parkinson's, is that, Dancing can actually help people with Parkinson's with balance, with coordinated movement, help them better manage their symptoms, because really dancing is kind of a form of exercise. But if it's a form of exercise that you actually look forward to and enjoy, and it doesn't feel like work, it's something that not only fosters a sense of mental well-being, but physical as well. Singing can be the same. We know that there are singing exercises that are done in speech therapy to help people with voice projection and making sure that they're using their diaphragm correctly. And so being able to just sing for the sake of singing and enjoy it may also mean that there are some side benefits to how you're able to manage Parkinson's. And then, of course, there can be other opportunities for joy, like even just taking a nice long sip of a cup of tea or a coffee, or taking a really savory bite of a dessert mindfully, like really just being in the moment of what that tastes like. And for some people, it might be swimming because they don't have to worry about gravity so much. They're just able to be buoyant in the water and enjoy the feeling of the water on their skin. And then, of course, interacting with loved ones. And they say that nothing keeps you younger than being around young people in mindset or in, physical age. And so being around other people who innervate that sense of excitement, of joy. And, that also includes pets. Pets can be a great source of joy. And I've had more than one patient tell me that through the midst of the pandemic, their pets saved them in so many ways, because they were able to have a sense of connection and be able to foster a sense of joy by, watching their dog chase a squirrel in the backyard, or, look funnily at the TV when they hear some kind of strange noise, or just knowing that they had a kind of a partner there that they could witness and they could be part of. And so recognizing that sense of connection to other people and other animals can really help with joy development. So when you're thinking about what you might want to do in terms of play, one thing to keep in mind that if it feels like work and the purpose is more important than the actual act, then it's not play. So if someone enjoys playing poker and it's not about winning, it's not about, how many chips they have at the end of the day, it's just about the joy of actually playing the game, then it's play. But if it's about how many chips I have, who am I going to win against? It's all about strategy to make sure that I win. That's more about the purpose. And so we want play to not be about the purpose, but about just being able to immerse yourself in the act of play itself. Okay. And cultivate an intention for play. So if you say, well, maybe I'll play today, maybe I won't. I don't know if something will come up or not, but we'll see how it goes. You may not leave a lot of room for it to actually happen. But if you say, okay, I know that I really, really enjoy singing. And even if it means that, I'm singing in the shower, because really I'm not a great singer, but it doesn't matter because I just want to do it because it's fun for me, that's play. That means that you are, and it's an intention for play. Like, I'm going to sing in the shower today, regardless of who hears me, regardless of how off tune I am. I'm going to do it because it feels good to me. It's something that I want to do. And so you set an intention for an act of play that then helps you to kind of maybe start the day off a little differently. So one thing that I read once is that, cultivating joy it's more of an act than it is an emotion. So joy as an act rather than an emotion. It really made me think, because we think, oh, joy happens and we feel it. And yes, that it's true. We do feel joy, but it's the result of doing something. It's often this little moment that makes us feel alive. It makes us feel connected. It makes us feel, this sense of lightness or warmth. And so, recognizing that it's because of doing something that helps to spark the joy. The spark rarely just happens on its own, and we kind of have to help it out. And that's where being mindful about play can come in really handy, because if we just wait for it to happen, it may never happen. So we have to be mindful and intentional about creating play in order to foster a sense of joy. So I thought that we would do a brief mindfulness exercise in being able to cultivate what play may look like for you, what maybe it looked like in the past, and how to maybe foster a sense of joy surrounding that, even just through the act of a meditation. So go ahead and get comfortable in your seats, as we typically do, making sure that you're feeling well supported in the chair or couch or wherever you may be sitting. And you can certainly keep your eyes opened or closed. And I just want you to kind of get in touch with your environment and how you're feeling in relation to it. So by that, I mean noticing the temperature of the air that may be on your skin. Noticing the pressure points of your body and where and how you're sitting. Notice how there may be a weight distribution from your legs to your hips and your back, how and where your arms may be resting. And as you start to notice that, start perhaps paying attention to your breath. Anchoring to the rhythm of your breath. The sensation of your breath as you breathe in and breathe out. Allowing your mind to settle on the breath alone. Allowing other thoughts or interjections to come and go, always anchoring back to the breath. Allowing for an open mind and an open heart. And then go ahead and take a nice deep breath here. And exhale, allowing the shoulders to settle a little farther from your ears. And now I want you to see if you can locate a memory that conjures a feeling of joy within your body. Preferably a memory that may have something to do with play. This can be from a time in childhood, it can be from adulthood, it can be a memory of you interacting with others, or even a memory where you were playful and joyful by yourself. Sometimes it may help if you kind of focus on a specific image, a person or place, object that is associated with that memory of play. Allowing that to help you kind of paint the picture of that memory and foster that sense of joy. As you focus on this memory, and try to paint it in as vivid colors as possible, really trying to remember everything about it. The situation, the sounds, the smells even, just what it felt like to be in that moment of playful joy. I want you to notice how your body responds. It may be that there's the trace of a smile on your face, maybe a sense of lightness in your stomach, a sense of warmth around your heart. Maybe you notice certain muscle groups loosen a little bit. Just being mindful of your body's response to this memory of joy. If you had to paint your joy as a color, I want you to imagine what that color is. Imagine that it's the small glowing light, whatever color you choose, that kind of starts in your core. Just imagine that joy is beginning to spread over your heart, through your abdomen, That light spreads to your arms, your legs, all the way to the tips of your fingers and toes. Surrounding your head almost as if it's a halo. Allowing your body to fully immerse in that joy, that playful joy of that memory. Taking notice of any other emotions you might feel. Sometimes you may notice even that the emotions are almost bittersweet because it is something that's from the past. And that's okay. Just be able to acknowledge it as one emotion as part of the entirety of this experience. Really trying to focus on cultivating that joy. And with that in mind, thinking of one way you would want to set an intention for mindful play in your life right now. Even if it needs to look a bit different than it did in your memory. Just imagine what's one thing that you could possibly do in your life this week to help cultivate joy through play. Setting the intention to follow through on that this week. Is it something that you deserve? And it's something that you need. Now let's take one more deep breath here. Slow exhale. Bringing your awareness back to your surroundings, your body's relation to your environment. Shifting in your seat, wiggling those fingers and toes. Coming back to awareness with open eyes when you're ready. Right. I see some serene faces. I would love to hear anyone's thoughts or comments. If anyone would like to share, some of what they thought about or what their intended playful act might be this week. Glad that you like Mindful Monday so much, Joan. Oh, there we go, Krista. Get your rollerblades out. I love it. Oh, swimming with the granddaughter. Yes. Water is so freeing. Get to be buoyant in ways we can't otherwise. Yeah, swimming underwater. I love it. It's that time of year. Here in Cleveland, we only get like 2 months of that, and then it's it's over. So take advantage while we can. Ooh, catching and releasing lightning bugs, painting, playing ping pong, dancing, real relaxation. Yes. Toys, I think we all could use some playful toys just for fun. Things that, just they don't have to serve a purpose other than just for us to do it for fun. So yes, be on the lookout for those. Absolutely. Jigsaw puzzles. Yeah. Gets the mind going too. Yeah. Going to the ocean. Always nice to live somewhere where the ocean's in sight. We have a lake here, but not quite the same thing. Playing Uno. Love it. College homework. That's playful. Okay. I'll take your word for it, Charlie. Yes, water, coffee and conversations, looking at pictures together. Oh, that's wonderful. So nice to reminisce sometimes and helps us kind of get into that playful frame of mind. Baking. Yes. Words with friends, grandkids visiting. Yeah, absolutely. Playing, yes. Playing even when the grandkids aren't there. Absolutely. It's great when they are, and they'll love you playing with them, but that doesn't mean that the fun has to stop when they leave. Right. Okay. Yep, Charlie, I'll believe you. College homework is very relaxing. I'm glad. I'm sure there's a market for that. All right.
Well, thank you everyone for sharing your playful activities. And I'll speak to Charlie. I think it's always important to not only go back to things that we used to enjoy doing and revisit them, but trying something new is very invigorating for the body, the mind, and our spirits. So there's a certain bravery that comes behind stepping into a new fitness class or a new bingo game or a new park. There's something very exciting about and very playful about exploring something new. So keeping that in mind, and that ties along the college homework because you're learning something new, which is really great for our brains, right? In Parkinson's disease, we've got to think about keeping our brains sharp.
Novelty is the number one thing that comes out in what helps with memory preservation and sharpening. Anything that's novel. So if you do the same crossword puzzles day in and day out, it loses its novelty, it loses its shine, so it doesn't give you the same cognitive sharpening. So novelty is the best thing that you can do, is infuse any kind of novelty to help with brain health.
Well, that was certainly fun. I appreciate you inspiring us to get playful, Dr. Rush. I know these sessions can sometimes be heavy and a little bit more airy on the other end. So appreciate you giving us that opportunity to smile and look back at the fun things that we love to do and hopefully reintroduce those to our lives.
Thank you so much for having me, guys.
So again, just want to ensure that you guys hear about our Volunteer Leadership Summit this Friday. Again, that's at July 16th at noon Eastern time. So if you haven't registered yet and would like to learn more about getting involved with Parkinson's Foundation, you can join us at parkinson.org.vfairs.com to sign up, or you can call our helpline to get involved with us. And one thing we're starting to ask of you guys this fiscal year, it's a new fiscal year for the foundation, we need your feedback. Mindfulness Mondays has been active now for 16 months, and we are starting to really get deep into the mindfulness practice as we begin to cultivate and further develop our skills in mindful awareness and learning how that can be useful as another tool for our Parkinson's disease toolkit. So please, Jennifer is going to drop a link in the chat. Once that link, you can click on that link. It's 5 simple questions. Just give us your feedback, what's resonating with you. I think there's 5 questions that are yes or no, and then there's an extended response. You'll have some space to share with us any feedback that you'd like for us to hear. And as we close, I want to be sure to share the mission of the Parkinson's Foundation with those of you who are joining us for the first time today. Every day and in everything we do, the Parkinson's Foundation staff and volunteers are working to make life better for people with Parkinson's. We do this, we achieve our mission by pursuing 3 goals: improving care for everyone with Parkinson's, advancing research toward a cure, and empowering and educating our global Parkinson's community. You can help us achieve our mission by joining us this Wellness Wednesday for our social engagement series, Creative Connections. During this session, we will explore how art therapy can help improve physical, psychological, and social functioning in people living with Parkinson's. And join us for this unique and fun experience, connecting with others through exploring art. You can learn more at parkinson.org/PDHealth. Here is a list of our upcoming Mindfulness Mondays. So next Monday, July 19th, we will be talking about physical well-being, and that'll be with myself. July 26th is our Spanish Mindfulness Monday. So be sure to tune into our YouTube channel to keep your mindfulness practice continuing as we don't meet live on July 26th. And then we'll come back together on August 2nd to set intentions. August 2nd, I'm going to ask you to bring a paper and pen. So on August 2nd, we'll need a paper and pen for our intentions. And of course, if you'd like to connect with myself, with Dr. Rush, or get further engaged with the Parkinson's Foundation, do not hesitate to reach out to our helpline. You can visit parkinson.org or call 1-800-4PD-INFO, or of course, email helpline@parkinson.org. And again, just to close, so we can get some feedback from you guys, Jennifer, if you wouldn't mind copying and pasting that survey link at the bottom of the chat. Everyone go ahead and click on that link. It'll open up in another window, and then you can provide us with your feedback so that we can continue to listen and fulfill what's working best for you guys. Okay, so next week we will be talking about pain. It's been an ongoing topic for the past few months of pain and Parkinson's disease. Next week we'll be talking about that mental fear that we hold on to when we are embracing our relationship with pain. So that's July 19th. Make sure you sign up. All right, Dr. Rush, thank you so much for your playfulness today. I think I will get my rollerblades out, maybe try something new on the yoga mat. So I appreciate that inspiration.
Yay. So happy to hear that. So, well, all of you have a wonderful rest of your day and go play.
Yes, go play, go dance, go volleyball, go ride your bike, go play with the kids, do something new, something novel. And we'll see you on July 19th. Bye, everyone.